friends. I just thought we'd talk a little bit about how Biden and the Democrats are in way over their heads. And it would be an absolutely hilarious 4 years if so much damage was not being done to the country and putting all of our lives in peril, essentially. And the whole point is, it's because these politicians, they are playing a game. And the game is, we win, we win. And they do not really care about the people, about the country functioning. What they care about is themselves being in power. And that is the only good. And if they are not in power, everything is terrible. But if they are in power, everything is wonderful, which is a lie. And as we are seeing, that Biden has been making a complete idiot of himself on every count, on the world stage, and the foreign leaders are just laughing, and they're happy to see America has come down so much and is so weak and pathetic. Like I said, the whole thing is just beat Trump, beat Trump. The Democrats do not have anything to promise, nothing good. All they have is their own idiotic ideas about reducing carbon emissions. So while they're reducing carbon emissions, like I said, China and Russia are taking over the world. Goody goody. So America has really lost its self-respect. The West has in general. Because freedom had come to mean be an excuse for the flourishing of corruption. Corruption has come under the banner of freedom. There's no standards. There has to be some standards for a civilization. That is the meaning of a civilization. A civilization means you have standards that you go by, you have laws, you have rules. In the name of complete freedom, you do not have a civilization, you have a mess. You have a free-for-all mess. And I know people like the libertarians won't like to hear that, but there has to be laws. That is the very definition of a civilization. If you're uncivilized savage, you can run around the woods and do whatever you want because you are uncivilized. But civilized people live together and go by certain rules that are helpful for the group. So we need to get back to practicing civilization and not allowing freedom to be an excuse for corruption and crime. So as I said, we are amused at Biden's idiocies, but like I said, the country is being weakened by it. Of course, I'm advocating secession on all levels for all Western nations because I believe that we need to confront the corruption from a place of power because right now they have got themselves in positions where they can just stomp on us. Whether in government, law enforcement, business, healthcare, they're just going to stomp on us if we try to get out from under their boot. And that is why secession is necessary, but there has to be enough support for secession to make it successful. But here's the thing. With secessions, that also comes with a lot of risk, because while countries are tending to their internal squabbles and their reorganizations, they are in a weak position. So while we're, breaking ranks and trying to reform governments and nations even, the foreign nations are going to see this as an opportunity to attack and conquer. So that is another real concern in secessionist movements. Because, like I said, it would weaken the nations to our outer enemies. So therefore, secession should be handled very carefully, and I believe it can be done as a matter, like I said, of just creating parallel structures in society, as many as possible, and then slowly pull yourself out of the tendrils of the terrible left and their absolutely failed culture. So the Democrats and Biden, They don't care that they're in over their head because they won. I'm not even sure they're aware that they're in over their heads. We are aware because we can see them stuttering and stammering and struggling every day. I mean, see Biden's press secretary. I mean, she certainly doesn't know what she's doing. She's just there. And I said, and that's what happened. The whole problem is the politics has become a culture of winning. The culture of winning. And that sort of undermines our entire government and our whole system of civilization when it's all it is political elites infighting amongst themselves, tit for tat, and cronyism, and like I said, they're only concerned of their own social circles, their own prestige and their own ego within their own social circles. So, I mean, whenever they have to confront big world issues, like confronting Russia, confronting China, confronting the Middle East problems, they are completely at a loss for how to handle these issues, because to them, their whole political career is just about one-upping the other party. So, as typical left-wingers and Democrats, they always just double down on their mistakes and just keep doing it more and more and more and more and more. However, at some point, there's going to come a day when they can't do that anymore, and a day of reckoning, essentially. There'll be a point when they will not be able to handle these international problems because they're just completely inept. And then, of course, don't forget that they're selling out the country. They're selling out our secrets, selling out our land, selling out our businesses, selling out our jobs. They're selling the country out because also about these Washington elites, they believe they are mercenaries. They are patriots of their own pocket. They are not patriots of the nation. They are not thinking what's best for the people, what's best for the nation. They are thinking what's best for me. How can I get rich quick? How can I gain more power? How can I direct everybody's lives and be the big boss and the big cheese? It's all about ego and vanity. Our political system is beyond corrupt. And that's why I always plug for secession. And, of course, trying to fix it from within the system it's a noble attempt. Because, as I said, if we are infighting and having secessionist movements and splits, that will be an open invitation to our foreign enemies to come in and attack and conquer. So that would be the main reason why we might not want to secede, but we might want to, like I said, just secede from a sense of parallel economies and societies. And I think that'll be achieved through activism. Conservatives have to get up and get active. And I think President Trump is doing his part. Starting his big social media company is a wonderful start. And we need more and more and more conservatives stepping up to fill in these roles and reclaiming society and our freedom. And ending the assumption that corruption and crime is part of freedom. Absolutely not. So, like I said, while we can take some amusement out of Biden first joining the Senate 120 years ago, it's also alarming to have someone of that mental level in the highest office in the land. And as I said, we have nothing but corruption and political infighting and allowing freedom to be considered part of crime and corruption. We have that to blame. And I said we need to do more if we're going to have a better future for America, for the Western nations, or any future at all. So we must get tough and get going. There's always hope. History has gone through many dark times. We can do this. There's power in prayer. God is in control. All right. Talk to you later. Let freedom ring.